Moving to a cloud has many benefits, like getting your application in the market quickly without having to worry about the underlying infrastructure cost, scaling to your enterprise requirements at a touch of a button, unlimited storage, and business continuity, amongst many of the others. But at the same time, there is a downside of having a limited visibility and control over the infrastructure, vendor lock-ins, secure APIs and data, and compliance-related issues. Hello and welcome to Information Security, Governance, Risk and Compliance. My name is Salvador and today we will learn how to audit cloud security based on cloud security metrics in 10 checkpoints. Let's get started. Point number one, governance, risk and compliance. Check and verify that a cloud security governance policy is created and approved. The policy contains applicable and relevant security standards, regulations, legal, contractual, and statutory requirements. Ensure roles and responsibilities for planning, implementing, operating enterprise governance programs are defined in the policy. As a cloud service customer, ensure that a cloud risk assessment is performed before moving the enterprise applications or data to the cloud. Ensure that the cloud service provider has performed an independent and risk-based assurance and audit of its service platform infrastructure based on international standards. Point number two, application security. Defining security requirements right at the beginning of a requirement phase and subsequently at other phases assures a secure application. Check if secure software development lifecycle or DevSecOps is followed to ensure that security is integrated end to end in the software development process. Make sure continuous application security assessment of open source elements and plugins, static and dynamic security testing, credential scans, white and black box testing, API security testing is performed. Ensure software packaging like Dockers and containers are very well scanned for vulnerabilities before moving to production. And web application firewall is implemented to thwart web attacks. Check and verify that measures are taken to prevent DDoS attacks. Point number three, identity and access management. Make sure access is provided on the least privilege principle and best practices of a role-based access and segregation of duties are followed. Check if all users and particularly privileged users are created in the cloud environment on the network or database or servers are reviewed on a regular basis. Make sure all privileged users have two-factor authentication. User registration and deregistration must be followed upon approvals. Additionally, check the password strength and account parameters like account lockout and auditing is defined and reviewed. Importantly, ensure security of the root account. Point number four, data security, encryption and key management. One of the most important concerns on moving to cloud is the security of data in transit or at rest in databases and storage servers. Make sure all data is classified to assign appropriate security controls. Check and verify that storage servers have proper access control maintained. From compliance and legal perspective, check if the cloud service provider stores data in region which is in compliance with the customer's regulatory, legal and contractual requirements. Organizations hosting sensitive data like healthcare or cards in the cloud have secured the data with highest available cryptographic standards and must maintain total control and ownership over the keys, and the keys are protected at rest, in storage, in transit, and keys are revoked when expired. Point number five, threat and vulnerability management. Ensure there is a policy on threat and vulnerability management that includes how to address threats and vulnerabilities, covering the compliance requirements, frequency of assessment, methods, and the remediation of identified threats based on severity and criticality. Check and verify the records of threats and vulnerabilities, including the mitigation status, are maintained. Ensure that tools used for vulnerability assessment and penetration testing are up to date with latest patches and versions to get a proper vulnerability assessment. Check and verify that the virus detection and mitigation patch management is in place. Point number 6, interoperability and portability. One of the prime concerns with the organizations moving to cloud is the interoperability and portability of their applications from one cloud service provider to another if things don't work out at the current cloud service provider. Ensure the APIs support interoperability between components and facilitate secure migration of applications and data between different environments. As a cloud service customer, make sure that provisions upon contract termination for the data to port to a different service provider, data storage, data availability, and complete data deletion from the current cloud service provider's disk. Ensure as a cloud service customer you are not locked in to a specific cloud service provider. Point number 7, infrastructure and virtualization security. As a cloud service customer, ensure to inventorize all the assets and service provided by the cloud service provider. Check the infrastructure is in compliance with your enterprise requirements and then that cloud service provider has adequate redundancy. Also check and verify the host and guest operating system, hypervisor, infrastructure is hardened, network configurations reviewed at least annually, and logging is enabled on host and guest OS. Cloud service provider, cloud service customer user access, and intra-tenant access is appropriately segmented and restricted from other tenants. Ensure secure and encrypted communication channels of transmission when migrating servers, services, applications, or data to cloud environments. Check and verify the network diagram showing architecture, security zones, descriptions, all components physical and logical, hypervisors, workloads, host, network physical and virtual, the traffic flow between various components in the cloud. Ensure and review a secure connection back to enterprise infrastructure, access controlled VPN, CSP, virtual firewall, security groups, and network access control lists. Additionally, make sure end user computing devices from the cloud service provider as well as cloud service customers are secure and patched. Point number 8, supply chain management and accountability. Cloud security is always a shared responsibility. Ensure a shared security responsibility model document between the cloud service provider and the cloud service customer is agreed upon, explicitly detailing each specific service based on the cloud service model. Shared security responsibility model document should clearly mention the entire supply chain and their obligations and accountability. Ensure right to audit and the third party assessment is defined in the contract. Make sure that while terminating the service, the cloud service provider and its third parties return the data in a proper format and that all the disks are sanitized. Point number 9, logging, monitoring, and security incident management. Check and verify how incidents are handled during a security incident or a breach at a cloud service provider end. What information should be logged and monitored, who is notified in the event of an incident. Ensure the contact clearly states the responsibility and accountability in an event of a security incident happened on the cloud. Make sure logging and monitoring policies and procedures should capture all types of security event and incident logs and that the cloud service customer have access to all audit logs. Ensure logs are protected from unauthorized access, roles and responsibilities defined on managing the chain of custody for forensic evidence collected from affected systems or cloud services. And finally, point number 10, business continuity management and operational resilience. For continuity of business, check and verify that the cloud service provider has a business continuity management and operational resiliency policy and plan and is tested on a regular basis. Ensure that the cloud service provider has adequate redundancy and automatic failure of systems. ensure network and system switchover happens automatically, backup and restoration is tested, applications and services are available to the users as per the service level agreements, ensure it is tested on a regular basis. Thank you for watching the video. Do provide your feedback and subscribe the channel for upcoming videos. Thank you.